So today I'm going to be doing a back in time watches video, and today I'll be sharing with you the first time that I've watched Jacob's Ladder. And for those who probably don't know what it's about, this is what it's about, just to give you a description of it. So it came out in 1990. Um, it says here, after returning home from the Vietnam War, veteran Jacob Senior, Tim Robbins, struggles to maintain his sanity, plagued by hallucinations and flashbacks. Senior rapidly falls apart as the world and people around him morph and twist into disturbing images. His girlfriend Jessie and ex-wife Sarah try to help him, but little to avail. Even Senior's chiropractor friend Lewis fails to reach him as he descends into madness. So when I had first watched Jacob's Ladder, it was for the first time last year, and I remember hearing about it a lot, but I've never had seen it. But I did got to see it. For the first time last year. I think it was on Amazon Prime, or it was somewhere else. It was on a streaming service. Sorry about that. Throat getting a little dry. So, okay, a sec. Okay, I'm back. So, yeah, as I'm watching this, I just remember that, I never had seen it, and I thought, okay, I don't know, what's gonna happen, so I just remember sitting down, and I just was really watching it. And I remember, as I'm seeing of what he's going through, I just remember thinking, okay, something is going on here. He's having these experiences, he's having these hallucinations, and that people around him, things around him start to morph into things and to these very disturbing images. And so that itself was very creepy. It was. And so seeing him going through this, I thought, okay, I don't know what's happening, but I thought maybe the reason why he's having these hallucinations and these flashbacks is because of, of the of what he had experienced in the war, that he just had this very traumatic experience in the war. And I thought it could be that, because that's what happens. And I've heard stories about that, where those who were in the war, and that when they come back home, that they're not the same, and that they have these hallucinations, or that they happen to they pretty much have hallucinations of what they had witnessed, what they had went through in the war, of seeing these horrible, very horrific things that they pretty much have seen. And yet they have they pretty much have that. It's like because of that, they have this post-traumatic stress, and it's the trauma that they went through, that's why they're seeing what they had saw when they were in the war, and or even have nightmares about the war and what they had witnessed and everything, especially those of those who were being killed, even like right in front of them. And I can't imagine just how horrible and how horrific that was. And even for those who have experienced that, I feel so bad for anyone who has experienced that. Like, it's just terrible. And so that was what I was thinking. I thought it could be the reason why he's having these hallucinations and people morphing into disturbing images and having these flashbacks is because of the trauma, because he has post-traumatic stress from the war, and because it was just so horrible, so horrific, so traumatizing, that's why he's having these hallucinations and these flashbacks. So that's what I was thinking at first. And so upon thinking that, okay, that makes sense. So it could be that. So I thought, well, I really hope that the character could get the help that he needs. And even though he may not ever get over what happened to him, because that's going to stay with him for the rest of his life, by that at least if someone's there to help him little by little, to at least to overcome that, maybe just to overcome of where there's no more hallucinations, no nightmares or flashbacks. I thought if at least he could have help and have at least someone to be there for him, to comfort him, then at least everything will be good. But turns out it was not like that. So it's like no matter how hard anyone tried, his friend, no matter how hard his friend tried to help him, it seemed like nothing was helping. And even with his ex-wife trying to help him and with his girlfriend trying to help him, it just seemed like as much as that they were trying to help him and be there for him and trying to understand of what he's feeling and everything, but yet he just like somehow just wasn't helping because it was just getting worse. And yeah, it seemed like he was really slipping into madness. And so now I will say this, it is a good movie, but there's just some things that I thought, okay, because I was hoping things would get better for him, at least if he could at least have some kind of comfort, and at least like, even if this trauma will always be there with him for the rest of his life, but I thought at least if he could at least get some kind of help where he might start to feel better, even just a little bit, that maybe he might start to move forward with his life, and that maybe things will probably get better. But as I just want to say, as a hopeful person that I am, and even though that's what I was hoping for the best of his character and everything, but it didn't turn out that way, because his character, it seemed like no matter what anyone would try to do to help him, that it was just not working, and that he was just, it just seemed like he was like I said, slipping into madness, and he was starting to slip away. And so yeah, as I'm seeing this, I'm like, okay, this is getting worse, like, okay. And so yeah, I just remember thinking, like, okay, I don't like this. This is horrible. I feel bad of what he's going through, and he shouldn't have to go through this, But then here's the thing, because there's a twist though, and I'm not gonna say what that is because I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not. So I just want to say that at some point towards the end, he goes back to a house. I think to a house where he used to live, and so there is something that we do know of his character, and so there is a part where, how am I gonna put this without spoiling it, but let's just say there was someone that he had lost because he had lost a son. So he sees him again, but when he does, let's just say there's something in that moment where all of a sudden you see this bright light, and all of a sudden that's where this twist comes in. But I think at that point you start to realize what's going on, and you may start to think, okay, so is he really not experiencing this? Is this what could be going on? And so as you start to wonder and even guess of what this is could be, you might be right, you might be wrong, but as you're trying to figure out what might be going on, yeah, all of a sudden this bright light appears, but then that's when you see this, that's when I think this twist unfolds, and then you really come to realize what was happening all this time. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil the twist here, because for those who haven't seen it but would like to see it, I do recommend it. It's a good movie, but just to warn you of what he sees of those disturbing images, because I was, of course, I got freaked out. It did creep me out because it was just very creepy, and I'm like, oh gosh, you know. But the twist, though, I did not, I didn't even expect it. I didn't even see it coming. And so, with the way how it ended, my reaction was more like, what? And I was just like, wait a minute, so all this time, what? So, like I said again, I don't want to say anything that would spoil it, so, but yeah. So I feel like there's no other way for me to explain this without not to spoil the ending, but all I gotta say is that the way it ended, like I said, I did not expect that, because that's not something that I even thought of. I mean, I did thought of it at first, only when it came a little bit close to the ending. So I think there's a certain part where I thought, okay, so maybe he's not really going through this. Maybe there's just something else that's just going on. Turns out it was, but I thought, okay, could either be this possibility or this. But I thought, either way, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's happening to him, and I don't know why he's having these hallucinations and these flashbacks. So I thought, okay, there's something going on, but I just don't know what that is. But the way it ended, okay, I'm sorry, it's just that the house from across the street, the lights outside just turned on, and I think they turned on because it's getting dark outside, which it is. And yes, the lights out here are on, so that's why there's a little bit more light in here, even though it's not as much. But anyway, so the way it ended, my reaction was like, wait, what? And so yeah, I was just like, I remember at some point I had to pause it. And I thought, whoa, like, wait a minute. Okay, I kind of thought this is something that might be happening. Like, I thought about that just for a bit. But I didn't know that this was going on. I thought either it could have been this or it could have been that. And the reason I'm not saying exactly what it is specifically, because I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't. I know there are some people that pretty much would give out spoilers, but I don't like to give out spoilers just because I don't like to give out spoilers only because I just think that, well, if anyone hasn't seen it and they would like to, then yes, feel free and watch it, but I would not want to give out spoilers, especially to those who haven't seen it but would like to see it. Then yes, go check this out for yourself. It is a good movie, but the twist, though, is something that either you may somehow expect or maybe not expect, but The twist though is something that either makes you think what could be happening or something that you haven't thought of and it hasn't crossed your mind yet. But then when it gets there, then yeah, I'm telling you, you're just gonna be completely surprised and shocked. Because I was shocked of how it ended of that twist. Because I didn't see it coming. I mean, I did thought of it. I did thought, okay, maybe this could happen, but there could be something else too. But turns out, nope. It did turned out to be what I even was considering a possibility, and so it was. But I was still left surprised, and I'm like, whoa, wait, like what? So yeah, that's all I gotta say. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this. But yes, that was the first time that I've watched Jacob's Ladder. But I love it when movies have that kind of twist, especially if it's a twist that either you might think what could happen, or if it's something you may not even have thought about, but then it happens later, and then you're like, oh my gosh, and then it's those kinds of twists that will leave you in for a surprise and will leave you completely shocked. And it's just like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up, let's take a moment here and pause, because what? So I love it when movies have those unique twists that either you might assume that's going on or you may not assume. But either way, it still leaves you in for a surprise and will leave you feeling quite shocked. Either way. So I did enjoy this movie, and I probably will watch it again just to see if the second time might make a little bit more sense to knowing what the twist is. So yeah, and for those who want to see it, I do recommend it. I might have to be here like this because of the light. So yes, for those who want to see it, please go check it out. And I do recommend it. I mean, it is a bit dated, but it's still a good movie nonetheless. So yeah, this was quite a surprise. So yeah, that was the first time that I watched it, and since then I was like, wow. And it kind of left me kind of speechless too, because I was like, wow, I have no words for what just happened and how it ended. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and to see more movie content like this, please subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be notified when I upload. So that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.